positive comments. The worst comments that you can internalize are your positive comments. Why? Because if people are telling you how good you're doing, you can't improve.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh. Chase money. Chase money. Hey. Hey. Woo. I do not feel no pressure, I just put in extra effort. I do not feel no pressure, I just put in extra effort. I do not feel no pressure, I just put in extra effort. I do not feel no pressure. Hey, look.
Yo guys, what is up? This is your boy John Lawson. I really want to talk about something that is extremely important, especially when we're talking about teaching what you know. You got to understand that you are the brand, right? So when you realize and recognize that you're going to be the brand, then you have to control the narrative of what people are talking about when you're not in the room. That's what a brand totally is. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's what a brand is. It's not your logo. It's not your color scheme and all that shit. It's basically what people say about you when you're not around. When people talk about something like Amazon, what do they talk about? They talk about how they get it so fast, right? So Amazon's literal brand is the brand promise of 2-day shipping, as long as you're a Prime member. And that's what people talk about. They rarely talk about the products. They rarely talk about the price. They only talk about the service. Understand that you become the brand. You become the service when you are what they're buying into when they're talking about teaching what you know. So how do you do this and keep the conversation going? You want to control your own narrative. Control your narrative. Don't worry about what other people are saying about you. Don't do that, because especially when we have social media, our social channel is our news channel for the rest of the world. When people are talking about you, blah, 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 somebody's going to come at one point and say, well, let me go look that person up. And when they look you up, the first things that's going to come out, maybe your website, if you have it as your name. After that, it's going to be Facebook or your Twitter or your Insta, right? And that's where you get to control the narrative. Nobody else has any control over what goes on your timeline. You have control. So you need to take control of that narrative on that timeline. That's the most important thing. I'm not saying that people won't talk about you. They will talk about you, and all conversation around me is good conversation. I don't care if it's positive or negative. I don't care. It just gets people interested in me. And once they're interested enough to start looking me up, once they start getting interested enough in finding out who you are, they're going to get your narrative. You are your own PR person, right? So just think about like Jeff Bezos. You remember this story about him having sent dick pics? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know what? He got totally in front of the story and put out his own narrative on what happened. That's what you want to do. Don't worry about what everybody's blah, 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 blah. You know the truth. Put it out there. You got to be that bold sometimes with your whole vibe. People have got to feel like you're comfortable in your own shoes. And the only way you're going to be comfortable in your own shoes is by doing your own thing and doing it your own way. And that's what we talked about earlier, about really just teaching what you know and being so authentic that nobody else's narrative can overwrite what people are getting from you when they see you, when they hear you, when they get the results that are coming from the education that you're teaching, right? What we were talking about, one of my favorite shows is Real Housewives of Atlanta. I like the whole franchise. And there's nothing really real about it, is it? And most of them are not housewives. But they're controlling their narrative. Even though somebody else is editing at the end, in reality, when you go to their channel or to their, because some of them have YouTube channels, some of them have their Instagram, others have their Facebook. When you go, they're still controlling their own narrative, even though they're on television. So dude, you got to just figure this out. Don't allow anybody else to tell your story. It's your story. You're the one who's living it. You're the one who's in it. And you just can't let everything that comes outside of you get to you, including positive comments. The worst comments that you can internalize are your positive comments. Why? Because if people are telling you how good you're doing, you can't improve. I can't improve on positives. It's just that there's nothing there for me. Look, I slid out of my mother's womb. Yeah, I did. And she's not 100% happy with me. I just get it. If you just think that all of your comments should be 100% 5 stars, everybody's going to see through your bullshit. Nobody's 5-star all the time. Nobody is 5-star 100%. You need to show that you're human. 99% is way more human than 100%. So just realize some of your own flaws are actually working for you and not against you. The more you seem vulnerable, the more people will interact with you. And just like I've told my story, I was going to go bankrupt. All of that whole narrative is important because you're feeling like, dude, that dude's genuine. He's so genuine. Of course I'm genuine. I mess up just as like anybody else, man. So put that out there, control the narrative. So I'm not going to tell you, hey, here's where I fucked up and said the F word. But I'm also going to tell you how I'm cleaning it up by putting a little bleep there so that it sounds good on PG. Yeah? You feel me? Everybody has these kinds of things. So, at any rate, I want you to get it from a business perspective that you represent the business. We are all in now on personality versus businesses. And you know what? I think a lot of people just simply wonder, like, what should I call my business? And should I make my business my avatar on, social media or something like that? Should I put my logo out there? Never do that. It should always be your face. Your face on your... I see people on social channels got their dog up there, their cat. What the hell is that? I don't get it. No, there's no authenticity in you showing your pet. People need to see your face because you are the brand when it comes all the way down to it, especially when we're talking about this kind of business where you're doing the informational share. They need to see you. It's got to be 100%. 100%. All right, you ready to hustle? You ready to get your startup going? That's what we're going to talk about next time. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.